So every stage of your life is filled with a moment that like makes you think about, hey, what am I really doing here?
I start with something very serious, something memorable, because I want to come back to it at the end. So it starts very serious on a somber note.
My eyes start to get drowsy, and I start to think, how did I get here? How did this start? And most importantly,
Here's the flip.
do I have a copy of my health insurance card?
Hey, my name is Sanka Pereira. I was working at SNL. I had a great job, but I realized like, if I stay here, right, my life will be exactly the same in 10 years. So I moved from New York City about 8 years ago. I was kind of looking to get to a place that was smaller, but still city. And I think I found it here. And, you know, moving here, my life kind of took a huge arc, right? Like I met someone, I got married, I had kids, I bought a house, I got a divorce, I bought a business. So like in 8 years, my life really just ran the gamut, right? A lot of you were like, what's the rush? About 6 months ago, me and a partner decided, let's buy a laundromat. And I like the idea of a laundromat because it doesn't require you to be there all the time, right? And that's a big one, right? I have a full-time job, I'm dedicated to that job, and it's really weekends and early mornings that I go to that laundromat if I have to. And so it gives me the freedom to still be a great father, right? To still have a full-time job that I do well at, and to have something on the side. Now, is the business going well? We'll see, right? Every business owner knows there's ups and downs, right? I think it's less about what anything as life has taught me is not about the outcome, right? It's about what you're putting into it. The speech was about me when I was 19, how I didn't graduate college on time because I was a few credits short, and I was riding a motorcycle away from my graduation. And as I was riding away, all that was on my mind was that I couldn't graduate with my friends. I let people down. I was a disappointment. You know, 20 years old, I was very ambitious, right? A little angry at the time, and I was just going too fast. And, you know, in that split second of being distracted, I didn't see that all the cars ahead of me had stopped, like a hard brake on the highway. And I saw it, I panicked. And so I braked, so I went from 70 down to 40, but it wasn't in time. And I crashed into the back of a Toyota Corolla, and I toppled over the car and down. I mean, I had stopped the highway, unfortunately. I'm sorry that I stopped the highway. I was like, oh man, people were going home, right? They're commuting home at the end of the day. And two, I didn't have medical insurance. So now I'm sweating, like, why? And so even at the hospital, I was just like, no, I'm good. And I took a train home with like half my jeans torn up because the paramedics cut my jeans to make sure I wasn't bleeding. Right, and so I had a dislocated shoulder, and they were like, "You should stay." But I was so worried about the bills. I was like, "No, I'm good," and I went home. At that stage, I thought I knew what I was doing, and I was kind of going through the motions, right? And that crash was a big moment for me because it made me realize, like, don't go through the motions, right? Really be present about what you're doing and appreciate it, and take a look around. And we tend to overweight what happens at the present moment, right? Without weighting everything else in our life. So we have, for every one negative thing, you're not looking at the 99 positive things around you. You know that sometimes bad things happen in our life, right? Bad things happen, whether it's a divorce, whether it's someone dying, and we tend to overweight what happens at the present moment, right? Without weighting everything else in our life. So we have, for every one negative thing, you're not looking at the 99 positive things around you. In my speech, what I was trying to get across to the audience is don't get distracted by one negative thing, right? Don't wait for the crash to let that happen to you.